Hey, it's time for week 2. This is Tango. I'm Matt.
I'm Maggie.
And we're hopping into the Corte for our beginner's pattern. Don't forget, if you're going to rewatch any of these items, we have little time codes down here in the description down below. So if you want to rewatch the lead, the follow, all these fun little pieces we got here, check them out. But hey, never mind that. Let's just jump into it. Jump into it. All right, let's go ahead and demonstrate our tango pattern. This is going to be the corte, which basically just means to cut. So we don't ever imagine when we say the word cut as something that really moves slowly and lazily and smoothly, but rather something that kind of moves at a sharp action. Just like the blade, the action needs to be sharp. So remembering tango has a staccato timing. That's going to be a word you hear a lot with tango, to attack. So our cutting action for the corte needs to reflect that same character. So we'll demo that oh so briefly. So we have, from a closed position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we'll do this from the leader's beginning perspective. We'll start in a closed position. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now from the follower's perspective. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, let's go ahead and break down the corte. So like we mentioned earlier, this has a lot to do with the staccato timing of tango. That's one of our internal logical consistencies. In everything we do in tango, we want to show the nature of the dance or the character of the dance. So it shouldn't always reflect on the music. It needs to reflect also the body actions. That's really what dancing is all about. So keep that in mind when we're doing the corte. We want to have that cutting action there. Now, your positioning is another thing that we want to make sure we're taking care of. So when we stay nice and low and close, we want to make sure this cutting action, we stay connected. If we start off here, we can get in a little bit of trouble. So we go nice and slowly. The lead's going to go back on the left foot. Follow, step forward, staying connected. Now leads, if you keep connected at the hip line and the chest, you'll keep your connection all the way through. 1, 2. Now I'm not rotating flat. I'm shaping. It's more like you're a little teapot. So when you step, slightly angle and shape your top line down and at the follow. If you rotate flatly around, you're going to hurt their back. So do not do that. So we start. 1, 2. Now we go forward on the right for 3, collect, 4, 5, 6, and then collect slowly over your 7, 8. So, one more time, we'll start from this position. I'm going back on my left, follows forward on the right. And we have 1, 2 is that shape. 3, 4 is a collect, like the end of a promenade action. And then 5, 6, 7, 8. That's your tango close. All right, leaders, this is fairly simple. We're keeping basic 8 count timing, or slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. We start in closed position. We go back for 1. On 2, we rotate and shape into the follow. Now don't pull away here. I don't want my hips to go back, and I don't want my chest to go back. I want to stay forward and engage to my partner as I go back, so I still stay connected, and I rotate and shape. That's my 1, 2. 3 is the weight change forward. 4 collects. Back to neutral position as if I'm about to ready to do my basic 1 again. Now I do my tango close. Tango close. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Rhythmically, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow.
All right, fellows, let's go ahead and go over our footwork. So, we're in our closed frame here. So we're going to be starting with our right foot, but instead of feeling this impulse to go back like we normally would for our basic, we're going to feel our follow move away from us. Now we're going to keep our left foot planted, and we're going to step forward with our right foot. And just sort of follow the shaping, trying to keep connected to your partner. And so that's going to be on 1, 2, on the first slow. Then the next slow, we're going to push off this right foot, and we're going to return our weight to our left foot for another slow. Again, trying to maintain connection with our partner. Then we go back, side, and then, so that was 5, 6, and so for 7, 8, we're going to draw our foot in. Now, one thing I like to know when we get to this pattern is that if you think about the origins, at least the legendary origins of this dance, it originally came from Argentina, where all of the cowboys would come to the cities, and they would go and, they would pay ladies for certain favors, and when they were in these houses of repute, they would do this dance where, the guys would kind of be trying out the ladies and the ladies would be trying out the guys. But if you think about it, there are these cowboys who, don't smell great. And so one of the things that you'll notice styling-wise for this dance is that, at least for the follows, normally we're sort of looking over our partner's shoulder, kind of, anywhere from, sort of right by his ear or, somewhere off to our left. Really, oftentimes we might be looking out, making sure there's no one coming behind them or anything like that. But something you'll notice for tango is a lot of times our heads will be very much more off to our left. And so one way that you can think about this and remember this, especially in this pattern, is that if you think of the Corte as this cowboy who's trying to maybe steal us in for a kiss, but, we maybe don't like him like that so much, and also he kind of smells. So we're going to turn our head away and, almost be looking over our shoulder. And then we'll come back and we'll continue in our pattern. But throughout the rest of the dance, you'll notice a lot of people dancing tango will keep more of their head for the follows. They'll keep their head sort of off more to their left. So that's just something unique to tango, sort of styling-wise, that, again, gives it its own interesting flavor. So, remember, he's going to be bringing us in for slow, and you can sort of do this dramatic, looking over your shoulder, back for slow, back for quick, side for quick, drawing for slow.
All right, let's go ahead and go through the key points for this pattern. So like we were mentioning earlier in the breakdown, it's about staying connected through and through. Because the follow is anticipating us, the leads, going forward and for them backwards, what's really important is whenever we as leads change our direction, that we give them a little bit of heads up through our connection. Now, it's not going to be visible, but this right hand here that we have, our bridge arm, we're going to want to go ahead and kind of create some pressure and kind of give them a clue that they're going to be being pulled towards us. So I like to accelerate my pressure on this side of my right hand and bring my follow more into my body at the end of my last basic. So I'll come from my tango close, and I'll have my tango close here, and then I'll pressure, increase that pressure, I'll compress them into me. That way they can feel comfortable going into this shaping action here. Now, as was noted earlier, the shaping is of two different axi. We don't have just a flat rotation, and we don't just have a, well, that would be silly, the top one. So we have a small rotation. If I'm thinking about a clock, and I'm looking at my partner as my 12 o'clock, I might rotate maybe to 11, maybe as far as 11 o'clock, and maybe 10:30. But the rest of it really is thinking about my rotation here on this axis. So I'm going to tip over this way. So when I'm going into this action, I'm stepping back. I'm slightly rotating on the 2 and then shaping into my partner. But I want to keep heart to heart. I still want to keep my connection with my partner here. So I have my tango close, and then ba-dum. I don't lose connection with my partner the whole time here. Then we can come up. That's a collect, right? So the most important thing I would say is to maintain your connection. There's nothing more uncomfortable when you're dancing with somebody. When you change direction and you reconnect and you get this bouncing kind of thing going on, it's not comfortable and you're trying to find your connection place and you can be kind of rattling around for a lot of the dance. So keep grounded, stay low, and keep your hips forward engaged and keep your top line nice and still. That will allow the best circumstance for the follows to connect to you guys or to you leads. So that's the big thing about Cortes is that we're learning how to shake while presenting a connection. We don't, again, pull our hips away. We keep them forward and engaged while we have the shape that we create for the follow. So it's a cutting action. Follows, don't worry about your knees coming forward. I know we can sometimes be a little worried about damaging our partners. But again, if we stay connected between that small rib and the pelvic bone, and you keep that forward, you're not going to be leading with the knee. A lot of times when we're learning to dance at these earlier levels, we lead with different parts of our body differently. This one is certainly where we deal with our connection first. And while we feel out where we're going with the feet, we do not ever have to worry about leading with the leg in that sense. You trace and proceed with the foot, and then the body follows the foot. You're not dancing where you lead with the knee first, so you don't have to worry about that happening. Feet preside, then body goes with that. So those are going to be your key points in terms of the Corte. Get comfortable to where you're able to execute this. You're not second guessing yourself and making sure you can stay connected. Once you're able to maintain the connection and you're doing this to real-time tempos, then you'll be ready to move on and change the shape of this, because this can come from turning actions, this can come from running actions, but the Corte is a beautiful foundational pattern that grows into other things as well. So hang in there with it. It's a really fun and kind of a playful pattern for the beginning levels of tango. Those are my key points. All right, let's go ahead and demonstrate this in real time. Gives you an idea of what it's supposed to look like on the dance floor. Tango is going to be that medium tempo dance. It's not unlike foxtrot in terms of tempo, but in action is where it varies. But because tango music is so different, you won't necessarily measure out it. You won't get that sense that it feels similar in tempo. But no, that's roughly where it is. American tempo tends to be a little slower, whereas international tends to be a little bit quicker. That's just something for you to file away underneath your ballroom trivia. It won't really make much of a difference. You hear it, and it sounds distinctly different, especially with that bandolion, that accordion, the strings, that distinct little drum roll hits with that strong kind of marching cadence. You're gonna go, ooh, tango, go to it. All right, let's demo this. Ready, and slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Great job today on tango. Keep playing with that Corte, keep playing with that dynamic timing, and it just gets better and better because we'll be using this pattern in the future, so make sure you pay attention to this one. This is a foundational piece. Otherwise, we will see you next time.